Hello, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today we have, well, I would call it Friday Reads normally, but we'll just call it Weekend Reads. Because while I'm filming it on Friday, it's pretty late on Friday, and if you're on the East Coast for sure, or across the pond, you're not going to see this on Friday. It'll be Saturday, so we'll just call it Weekend Reads. So I'm going to talk about the couple of books I've been reading, what I'm currently reading, and I've got a small book haul here. A kind friend sent my way. So let's start with what I've been reading. And this is the moment of excitement for at least a few of you, because I now have a Kindle. So I'm able to show this off to you. So the first book I finished, you can see right here, is The Romance of Tristan by Beirut, which was, I believe, the earliest story of Tristan and Isolde, written back in the 1200s, maybe? But it predated Gottfried von Strasberg by a little bit. But you can see some very, very clear parallels in there. Much shorter, a lot faster paced. It's a great way to get an introduction to the Tristan story because it gives a really good overview without having any real fluff added in there. It was a relatively quick read, and really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, continuing my medieval mood for my reading here. So the other book that I finished, because I finished one other book, is A Hero Born by Jin Young. This is book one in the Legend of the Condor Heroes. So this is a Chinese, I think it's deemed to be fantasy, but it's set in the 1200s, so it's almost like a historical fiction almost, which might make some of you sit up and take notice. So kind of a blend between historical fiction, fantasy, because there's a lot of use of kung fu, and the kung fu is at times very supernatural in what they are able to accomplish as their feats in doing these things. So that would be what I would lead to believe is kind of the fantasy aspect of things here, and really, really enjoyable. So I was on my work trip this past week, and this is the primary thing that I was reading while I was gone on that trip. Absolutely enjoyed it. Could not put it down, especially once it got up and running. And the only thing I hate is being on this 500 book challenge. I'm not able to buy books 2, 3, and 4 right now. So those are going to be going onto my birthday wish list because I would love, love, love to pick this series back up and finish the other 3 books in this, because this was just a whole lot of fun. Really, really engaging, action-packed, fun reads. So now we come to the books that I'm reading. So the one that I didn't bring all the way down with me, but I've still got the dust jacket here that I took off, is The Fall of Numenor by J.R.R. Tolkien, which my wife was so kind to get me for Christmas. And I'm enjoying it so far. I'm about 30, 35 pages into it, which right now is a lot of just developing the land of Numenor and what it is and the people that populate it and whatnot. And is enjoyable so far. I didn't take it with me on the work trip because I didn't want to have anything happen to the book. But that is my book that is upstairs, and I'm reading diligently. Speaking of reading diligently, every single day since I finished Dangerous Visions December, I've continued to the habit that I developed of reading a short story a day. So the next collection of short stories, which is on my 60, A Hero Born is also on the 60 that I'd picked for to read by the end of 2023. But this is also on there. So this is Space Infantry, edited by David Drake. So it's a collection of short stories. It's got Jerry Purnell, it's got David Drake, Fritz Lieber, Gordon Dixon, George R.R. Martin, Joe Haldeman, among others, have stories in here. And today I read the Fritz Leiber story and enjoyed it quite a bit. So, really happy to be reading through this. Even though military sci-fi is not exactly my sweet spot, I'm still enjoying it quite a bit. One of the other books I took with me that I started on my trip and have been reading more than I had anticipated, and will probably continue to be reading more than I anticipate. It's one of those, it's a very slow-paced read because of what it is. And it's an older book, and that is Chaucer and His Contemporaries, which is also on that 60 list. So edited with an introduction by Helene Newstead. So these are essays on medieval literature and thought. So it's opening up with medieval thought and science and all of those things, setting the scene, as well as it also opened with 2 excerpts from contemporaries of the time about some of the big things that happened. As you can see, the cover came off while reading it. This is published in 67, I think it was. So this has been around for a while. So it started off in an interesting way after her introduction. It has two contemporary voices. So it has Boccaccio talking about the Black Death, and then Sir John Froissart talking about the Peasants' Revolt. So 2 big events around the time frame. And so right now I'm on part 2, The Spirit of the Age. I've got the last 2 here to read, and then I'll be diving into Chaucer and his works, followed by the other major poets after a bunch of Chaucer stuff. So I'm really enjoying this. I think I'm going to enjoy it even more once I get to the Chaucer and other chapters. But it's good to continue. The medievalist in me is very happy about some of the reads I've been doing lately. So last, but certainly not least, especially all things considered. So I started reading because I wanted to celebrate having the Kindle. So this is going to be my first book that I'm reading on the Kindle itself. So the Beyrule Romance of Tristan was on the Kindle app on my phone. But now that I've got an actual Kindle, this is Escaping First Contact. This is book 1 in the Burnt Ship series, a trilogy by T.S. Beyer. And T.S. Beyer is a booktuber. This is Tina over at Sound and Fury Book Reviews. I'll have her link down below. You should definitely go check her channel out if you're not already a subscriber for her. She's got really, really great reviews. She reviews some newer science fiction and a lot of classic science fiction as well. So if you enjoy science fiction at all, you definitely want to check her out. And she does dabble into some other genres on occasion, but I think her preference is science fiction. That is exactly what this book is. I'm 1 chapter in so far. And I figured I should come down here and make my video, but I'm going to be diving right back into this here later tonight because my daughter's still awake. I've got her duty tonight, so I'll be up with her for a while. So we'll see how far I can get into this tonight. Tolkien might call my name and pull me away from it for at least a little bit. So now we have a book haul. This is brought to you by the wonderful Scott Danielson, who no longer is active on BookTube, but I met him through BookTube, and we still chat all the time, and he's kind of downsizing his collection a little bit and looking to part with things as he's analyzing them and saying, is this something I'm going to revisit at any point in time? And I had mentioned that one of the books I wanted to read, and he actually had an extra copy of it for this year, because of Greg Bear, was Greg Bear Hard Fought with the Timothy Zahn Cascade Point, so a tour double. And he Voxered me back and said, hey, I've got a couple of other tour doubles I'm looking to get rid of. Would you like them? And of course, sure, I'd love to. And he said that it also included the Greg Bear, if you want it. I said, you know what? Go ahead and send it my way, because I'll hang on to it, because I'm starting to build up a set of books that I'm going to be doing giveaways for. So this will gladly be getting included in one of those. But in addition to that, there's 3, 6, 9, 10 others right here that I have not owned and have not read. That I'm very, very excited about. So the first tour double here is got Isaac Asimov, The Ugly Little Boy. And on the back, we have The Wadget, and Buff by Theodore Sturgeon. I've read a couple of Sturgeons lately and really, really enjoyed them. So I have a feeling that this is going to be just a fantastic double there with those two authors. So next we have this one, which I might say is probably the one I was most excited about. So this has got Harlan Ellison, Run for the Stars. As you know, if you've been following along for a while, I've been itching to read more Ellison lately. It's also got Jack Dan and Jack C. Haldeman, Echoes of Thunder. I love Joe Haldeman, so I would love to explore Jack Haldeman and see how that goes. So we have another tour double here with Press Enter by John Varley. And then we have Hawksbill Station by Robert Silverberg. And the nice thing about these is, you can see here, this is not too long. Each of these is, novella, novelette, 80, 90 pages in length. So getting through one of these is going to be relatively quick. So let me know. I want your input for the official counting on this. So I've got these doubles. I've got 11 if I count the Greg Bear Timothy Zahn. Do I count these as 1? Or if I read both, do I count it as 2? Let me know what your thoughts. I'm okay either way. It'd be really great to count them as 2. But if my viewers speak and say, yeah, it probably should only count as 1, I'll just count it as 1. I'll still read every one of these. So we have Robert Silverberg, Born with the Dead. And then on the other side, Brian W. Aldiss, The Saliva Tree. We have this one, which is not a double-sided one. Kind of like the Ellison Haldeman. Walter John Williams, Elegy for Angels and Dogs. And then Roger Zelazny, The Graveyard Heart. I'd be very excited to dive into that Zelazny. I don't know if I have heard anything about Walter John Williams, so let me know. Is that somebody I should be excited about? So we have Sailing to Byzantium by Robert Silverberg. And Gene Wolfe. This will be my first thing that I read by Gene Wolfe. I don't own anything by Gene Wolfe. 7 American Nights. I know Book of the New Sun is something I really, really need to read. I should probably put that on my birthday wish list for June when that rolls around. James Tiptree Jr., Houston, do you read? And then Joanna Russ with Souls. So this should be an exciting pairing there. Arthur C. Clarke, Meeting with Medusa. And Kim Stanley Robinson, Green Mars. Got 2 more here. Kim Stanley Robinson, A Short, Sharp Shock. And Jack Vance, The Dragon Masters. So this is another fantastic pairing of authors there. And then last but not least, we have Poul Anderson, No Truce with Kings. And then Fritz Lieber, Ship of Shadows. So there you go. There's my weekend reads. There's my book haul. Thank you again, Scott, for sending those my way. I tremendously appreciate that. And just hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. Stay tuned because I will probably be making my next BookTuber Recommends video here shortly because I've wrapped those up. And I'm excited to talk about them. So have a great weekend.